We are naturally moving beings, people who are always moving and growing. Every atom that makes up our concept, that makes up our thinking, that is always in motion. So why would we, in our minds, create a concept that we need to stop or we're unable to keep going forward? Peace. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome, family, to Tea Time Podcast by Atiya J. This is your self-help, spiritual podcast, uplifting topics we all love to avoid, but we definitely need to conquer. Tea time is your moment to pause, listen, and absorb what is soothing to you. I'm Atiya J, aka Tia, a certified holistic life coach, and this idea was sparked by my passion to help others discover their latent potential, purpose, and significance, especially if you are one who feels overlooked, alone, or forgotten. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. I see you and I feel you. Welcome to Tea Time Podcast. Enjoy the tea. Peace. Assalamu alaikum. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the new season of Tea Time Podcast. This is season 4, and we are continuing our theme of conquering fear. Remember, Tea Time Podcast is your place to listen to tea, to listen to topics that we don't usually talk about, but we definitely should conquer. So let's conquer fear. This episode, I want to discuss fear of movement, fear of moving forward. And this was sparked by me listening to Final Call Radio this morning. And I did not catch the lecture, but I should be able to get it another time. It plays frequently. But in a lecture, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that the first law of nature, as taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, is movement, is motion. Motion is the word he used. And that struck me because lately I've been dealing with this concept of procrastination. And I've spoken about procrastination before because it is a lifetime thing that I've been dealing with. It is my lifetime kind of devil I need to conquer, right? We'll call it that. And procrastination, when I heard the minister say the first law of nature is motion, for some reason my mind put procrastination as the opposite of motion. And procrastination, I think I've spoken about it on the podcast before, but an understanding that I have gotten about it more recently in my life is that it's when you're frozen, like when you're stuck, you're not able to move. And it is because of some type of emotion, some type of concept that we have built up in our minds that is holding us back from being able to move forward. It creates fear. It creates this feeling that I can't do this, or I shouldn't do this, or I'm not worthy of doing this. So when I heard the minister say that the first law of nature is motion, that kind of struck me because my nature is to be able to move forward. It is in my nature. I am created. I am made to be able to move forward. We can go into the womb, which Minister Ishmael always explains so beautifully. But if we talk about the fact that me and you are alive and able to listen to this, there was a motion that was put into place, that is being put into place, that is being foretold as well, that requires that we be here in this moment, that required that we were a result of the sperm out of millions, hundreds of millions, that made it to the egg and created a baby after a successful pregnancy. That doesn't always happen. We hear a lot about, fertility issues and everything, but you were not a fertility issue. I was not a fertility issue. I was set into motion for a reason. And procrastination is, in my understanding today, the very opposite of that motion. Like, it is in obstinance of that motion. While we should not be procrastinating because we naturally are in motion, right? We are naturally moving beings, people who are always moving and growing. Every atom that makes up our concept, that makes up our thinking, that is always in motion. So why would we in our minds create a concept that we need to stop or we're unable to keep going forward? Procrastination for me has become this fear of not being able to do something or being unworthy of doing something or not knowing how to do it properly, you know? And while re-listening, I've been in this place where I want to listen to a podcast in my mornings, and I searched for a podcast, and one morning it hit me. I'm sitting here searching for a podcast. Let me listen to my own. Like, why do I not listen to my own podcast every single day? So I started doing that, and I started picking an episode every day, and I am blown away at where I was versus where I am today. The amount of growth that we ignore when we do not reflect upon ourselves and we do not actually listen to ourselves is immense. And I'm listening to my old podcast, and just we can talk technical. I didn't have a microphone like I do now. I didn't always record video like I do now. I didn't use the high quality sound that I do now. And I didn't have the means to edit the way that I do now. And I still did the podcast. Like, I still started this. I could have recorded the podcast on my phone, and some people do that, and they still record and they still do something. They do not allow the fear of not doing something correctly or doing it the best way to stop them. I did not allow that fear of not doing it correctly or not knowing what a podcast format should be. I did not allow that to stop me. And look at where I am now because of it. Look at how many people have loved my podcast and were able to figure out certain concepts that they were stuck on, because of my podcast, they were able to kind of think through for themselves or even have a conversation with me about it. So let's look up the definition of procrastination and motion, because you know I love definitions. The definition of procrastination is the act or habit of procrastinating, clearly, or putting off or delaying, especially something requiring immediate attention. Let's look up the definition of motion. Motion is the action or process of moving or changing, or of changing place or position, movement. Power of movement as of a living body, the manner of moving the body in walking gait, a bodily movement or change of posture, gesture. Verb, to direct by a significant motion or gesture, as with the hand. And verb used without the object, to make a meaningful motion, as with the hand gesture signal. When I think about those definitions, they pretty much are the opposite of each other. One actually like messes with the other, and procrastination antagonizes motion. Procrastination antagonizes motion. I'm going to say it again. Procrastination, or the fear of moving forward, or the fear of not doing something correctly, or the fear of I'm not worthy of doing this, or the fear of somebody else can do this better, antagonizes motion. It stops you. The human body physically, naturally moves. And when we procrastinate and allow that to overcome us, like I always do, then we are allowing that antagonizing body, or that antagonizing feeling, or that antagonizing thought to overcome us and to stop our movement. So we're now frozen in place. We're now unable to grow in the way that we were supposed to when we were supposed to overcome that procrastination. For example, I conquered the fear of procrastination when I started this podcast. I definitely did not feel that I was going to do a podcast properly, but I had the courage to move out. I had the courage to make a move regardless of what I was fearing. On the flip side, when it comes to my coaching business, right now I'm in a place where I feel that I'm not ready to put myself out there as a coach. And it has stopped me from doing that. And because of that, my business is kind of stagnant right now. My business is not moving when it should be because of the fact that I'm allowing procrastination, the antagonizing body, to stop my motion, which is naturally what I'm supposed to be within. We are naturally supposed to be in motion. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us that the first law of nature is motion. The earth that we see today, the flowers that we see, these beautiful babies that we may have, the ability to travel, none of that would happen without motion, without somebody who had a thought, without nature who allows itself to grow, without the atoms that are within us working together to be able to create what we see and what we even don't see. Procrastination is an antagonizing body to motion. Wow. I'm going to keep that and put it in my pocket, and I'm going to listen to this podcast again because it's definitely key and what I need to hear. So in order to conquer the fear of motion, we need to address what is causing us to procrastinate. We need to address those negative beliefs that we have about ourselves, that we are unable to, or that we can't do something. That's just not true. If we have the mindset and the thought to do something, then that means we're able to do it. When I first started life coaching, I was out here. I was like, finally, I found a career that I can take control of, that I can create a business out of, that fits my purpose. My purpose is to help people to find their latent potential. And I finally found a career that helps me to help people find their latent potential and purpose in life. But I got caught up in just the business aspects and watching everybody else and how they coach. And I started questioning myself. I have to go back to that, right? I have to journal. I have to pray. I have to meditate. I have to seek refuge in my Creator and the person who gave me my purpose. I have to pray to Him, to Allah, to God, and ask Him for strength, ask Him for focus on myself rather than comparing and contrasting, and also to get that courage and to get that excitement back that I had in the beginning, so that regardless of the business aspects I don't know about owning an LLC, I will walk in my purpose. Because my purpose makes me happy, it makes me passionate, it makes me feel good. My purpose and leaning on that and leaning on my Creator helps me to conquer that procrastination, which is a fear of moving forward, which is a fear of not being worthy, right? I need to be in motion. So I just wanted to share that. Some things that I'm going to do moving forward is definitely journal more because I've been slacking, but also reflect more. While I'm journaling, I'm going to read back. I need to read back on my journals. I'm going to listen to more of these podcasts. You should too. But I'm going to listen to more of these podcasts and reflect on where I was and where I am and where I'm going. That is so key and important. And I'm also going to take time to be more present because I can't do any of that without being more present with myself. I've been allowing other things to move me rather than me being in control of my motion, rather than me submitting to where Allah God has me going so that I can allow Him to control my motion. And control is another topic that we're going to talk about. But I thank you all for listening. I hope that this was thought-provoking for you. I hope this is a topic that you probably needed to tap into, and I hope it made sense, all the concepts I brought forward. And don't forget to listen to other Tea Time Podcast episodes. We are streaming on all podcast platforms and iHeartRadio. You can Google Tea Time Podcast, and you can also follow at Tea Time Podcast on Instagram. You can follow at by Atiya, Atiya J on TikTok. And you can search youtube.com by Atiya J on YouTube, and you can see video podcasts. You can see everything else that I do as well. I am a mother. I am a wife. I am a life coach. I am a believer in purpose, and I am a podcaster. So I thank you all for tuning in and listening, and I hope that you can get connected with me in other ways. I hope that you are enjoying the topic, the theme that we selected for this season, and I hope that you can begin to conquer your fear. So definitely like, subscribe, share this podcast episode, subscribe to me on Spotify, and support the podcast. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, evening, wherever you may be, however you may be listening to this. May you go with peace.